What's up, guys? Ricky here. Do you love Most Valuable Podcasts? And are you like myself where things that you like, you just have to let people know because they've got to be on your t-shirt at all times? If you do, you're in luck because we got Most Valuable Podcast t-shirts. You've probably seen myself, Dave, Mark, Sean, Brandon. You might have seen us wearing these t-shirts in videos. The good thing is now you can get your hands on one too. How do you do so? First off, send us an email, mostvaluablepodcast@gmail.com. Give us your name, your size, your address. We will then send you an invoice through Square. That's how you'll pay for it, $22 per shirt. And then after we get the money, we will send you a great Most Valuable Podcast t-shirt for you to wear so you can tell everybody that you love listening to Most Valuable Podcast. So go check it out. The directions are also in the description. What are you waiting for? We got the shirts just for you. But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic. And we're looking at Jumanji. And I know that I'm going to say this right off the bat because I know we're going to get comments for it. Neither you nor I were able to go see the new Jumanji movie, Welcome to the Jungle. However, I feel like this topic we can do without seeing the second one. So I just want to say that right up front so we don't have comments where it's like, you ain't got to watch the second one. No, we will. We just haven't had the time yet. But yes. So this is from an interview with Kevin Hart, The Rock, Jack Black. And really we're taking what Jack Black said. And what he said, and I quote, "If you don't mind me jumping in, I think it would be cool to see the mind behind the game. It'd be cool to like explore because there's got to be some alien technology." And then The Rock jumped in and said, like Oz. And Jack Black goes, exactly. Who's behind the curtain on this game? So what I wanted to bring up, Johnny, for Jumanji and just our second topic here is basically, should there be a Jumanji prequel? Meaning, I don't think I have to, but I will. Meaning, in Jumanji 3... do we go back before Jumanji 1? Do we go back to, okay, how did this all start? How did the curse get to the board game? How did it then get to the video game? How did it all start? Should there be a movie like that?
Should there? We don't necessarily need it, but I would think it would be fantastic to see. I think it would be very fun to see. I think Jack Black, and in that interview, they mentioned something about aliens.
Yeah, he said like alien technology.
I would go a separate route than that. I would say ancient curse.
Yeah.
That would be my thing. An ancient priest, African priest curse on something. And just like, you know what? You guys want to play a game about Africa? Oh, you're going to get Africa. Okay. The dangers of Africa. And I think it'd be great to see, like...
because, like, in the original Jumanji, they find the game, and the game's been around. It's not like this was, like... because at the very beginning...
in the very, very beginning, it's like the 1800s,
yeah, and they
like,
getting buried.
Buried it, yeah.
What if, like... what if that was the first people to play the game?
I'd say
they were the first one? Like, in this prequel, would you want it to be two sides now? Okay. Would you want it to be... all right, here it was. Here are the people that played it before Robin Williams, before Alan Parrish. Yeah. Or would you want it to be, how did this game get cursed? Because you think about it, like how the board game looked in the original movie. Yeah. It wasn't like a modernized board game. It was like made out of one piece of wood that folded back.
Ivory.
The pieces were ivory pieces to where it was like, all right, this looks like it was handcrafted many moons ago.
Yeah, I'd say go with like maybe like a combination movie of, hey, this is how it got cursed, but this is also how like the first people to play. So kind of a combination of the two.
Well, it all comes back to how long ago, like when was the game made? Was it made before the 1800s?
I would say so.
Or was it made around that time and it was like you were saying, oh, you want a game about Africa? Here's a game about Africa. You get what you ask for, kind of a thing.
I could say, actually, that would be cool. Like, maybe not those kids that buried it were the first ones that play it, but somewhere in that, like, between the 16 and 1800s was when it first happened. Because it looks like it was made in that era. Somewhere in that time range. It looks like that it would have been made then. Because ivory was a popular thing to be poaching for. Obviously, any games would be made out of wooden boards. et cetera, and they have that. I think it's an emerald or a piece of jade right in the middle because it's got a green hue, obviously.
Yeah.
To have that, or maybe the piece of jade in the middle is the thing that's cursed.
I'm trying to do some research right now. Like I'm thinking of different ideas that could like involve the story. And the first one that I thought of was basically like the first thing that popped into my head, Salem witch trials, because I think it'd be cool if, let's say the game was like the curse originated from there, and it was like maybe kids in that era that like one of the witches who nobody knew she was a witch, but she's a witch. And it's like, oh, you want a fun, like we need a fun board game to play. I'm going to give you a fun board game to play. And then she kind of puts a little curse on the game. Like this is very elementary in my head right now.
I'm gonna make a slight alteration on yours. I like the era where you went in during the
Salem witch trials.
Fits perfectly. Have that game come from like let's have like someone's putting together the game of some sort. The one, and then it could play into the witch trial thing because all these magical things happening. And I still think the one thing that, at least the one main thing that should be cursed is that piece of jade right in the middle, or emerald, or whatever it is. I'm not. Yeah. I know it's whatever the green stone it is.
Yeah, the circle thing where everything, the text comes
If it gets to the piece gets to the middle.
Yeah.
That's what's cursed.
Okay.
And then it plays into that era great because like monkeys start showing up. Stampedes, plants no one recognizes, and then you could have like how it's affecting this 1600s village. How it's like people are thinking, oh, there's a witch, and it starts the witch hunt too. But it's just these 4 kids playing a board game.
I'm thinking something here.
I like that one.
I'm thinking, and this next one, I'm gonna throw it out there. Then you tell me what you think. This might be going a little bit too far because the only thing that I think would be missing from that Salem witch trials thing is what connects it to Africa. Because the Salem, like if it was a witch from a European like crossover, listen to this. You tell me what you think. I don't know if this is in poor taste, but that I'm just gonna throw it out there. What if, because I'm looking, like the thing I was trying to pin down was the time period of slavery in America.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
What if that's how the African part comes into it, where it has to do with something with, like...
A begrudged slave.
Because during the Salem witch trials, that happened during, what, the date that I'm looking at is like 1693? Yeah. Slavery was still going on during that time. I have 1501... To 1890 or 1865.
So honestly, to quote the first thing that pops up on Google, the transatlantic slave trade began in the 15th century after the Portuguese started exploring.
So the 15th century, would that be 1600s? Okay.
In about 1650, however, with the development of plantations on the new Caribbean islands, et cetera, that's when they started to grow. But it started in the 1600s.
So this is like 93 years, 50 years, depending on where you want to go off of, mid-60s or 1600.
Yeah.
So it would be early on in the... Ooh, that would be interesting. What if it's one of the slaves that...
transplanted to there.
Yes, and it comes over with them, and maybe it's like a weird twist where it's not a witch.
He was a witch doctor over there.
No.
Medicine man-ish type thing.
Exactly. What if it... And then it plays off of another thing of like, maybe at the time where it's like... They were pointing fingers. Because I'm thinking of like the book The Crucible.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're pointing fingers at each other. What if we didn't even think about that some of the slaves we brought over could be, we would see them as witches, but like you said, witch doctor.
Over there he was like, over there he'd be considered like medicine man or witch doctor. Or whatever magical thing they would consider him over there. But over here, he's just considered a slave. It's like, oh, you know what? It is his way of getting back at them. Yeah, you know what? You want this game? You got this game right here. Here's a little thing in the middle. Have fun.
Now, question for you.
Okay.
Because now that we came up from that idea, does it need to happen right at the beginning of the 1600s?
Doesn't have to be the beginning 1600s.
No, but like, does it have to happen during Salem witch trial time, or could we have it later on in the slavery timeline?
You can have it anywhere in that timeline, but I think it would work nicely with the aesthetic of that, even except for the fact that I don't know if anyone from that area had slaves, because there was just because of the religious thing going on.
That's why I would wait until, like, I would go to a time period, if we're going to go off of that, I would go to a time period where it was like most families
had them,
did that. So that way you can justify, like, okay, this is, so someone can't burn you on the fact of like, well, they wouldn't have slaves at this time, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But like, that's the only thing I was thinking of, is how do you bridge the African thing and the African theme over to it, because it is an African based game.
Yes.
And I'm thinking board game, because that's like
themed.
Like,
it's themed game.
Like, yes, it's a video game now, but that curse moved
from board
game. What about this? And this is another thing I'm going to bring up, because they also talked about right here, spoilers for Jumanji, because I went ahead and spoiled it for myself because I didn't really care. But if you care about spoilers, I'll give you, how about you do this? Hit mute right now, and then I'll give you 2 thumbs up. Like this.
When we get past the spoiler.
Gotten past the spoiler. So right now, hit the mute button. All right, I think we can talk about it. I think we can. So here's the thing that I looked into. Like I told you about the post-credit scene where you just hear they destroy the game and you hear the kind of alluding to the, hey, it could carry on.
Yeah.
What if, and I hope they got it. Do it again.
There you go.
Cool. Spoilers done. What if, like, it's a video game in the second one, it was a board game before. What if the first time in the prequel, it's not a board game? It's a different kind of game that would have been popular at that time.
Yeah.
Or, like, that's another question. Would you want to see that, or would you have rather seen, like, do you have to see creation of the board game?
I mean, it could already be the board game, because I feel like...
What if it's not a board game, but the kids that play it in the prequel, their experiences with the witch doctor and that game, that inspires them to make the game, and that's the beginning of it.
Well,
that's the beginning of, it's very elementary, and then eventually it's like someone took it on and then refurbished it and made
only
Jumanji.
problem with that is A, you have to get the curse into the game then. B, most of the people that play Jumanji, it seems like in any of these scenarios, wants nothing to do with it, wants no one to get a hold of it.
True.
Which is why you bury it 6 feet under, 6 or more feet down.
True.
You throw it in the ocean tied to a rock, etc., etc.
Good point. Squashed.
Yeah, sorry,
Squashed.
not to burst that bubble, but
that's what we're going here with. We're throwing out ideas. We're trying to get something here. So it would have to be a board game.
I think so.
But would you want does that have to be the main part of it? Like, this is the board game, or do you just want to see the prequel of everything leading up, and like the end of the movie is them making the board game? Or do you think the board game and them playing it, the first people to ever play the board game?
I think it'd be I think I would go with first people to play the board game. The game is either made via the movie, or like you find at least a hint of why the thing's cursed in the movie. Like, we don't even have to get the complete assembly of the game. It can just, it's magic. It appeared. Because the only thing, let's put it this way too, the game apparently it adapts, and it, like I was gonna say, the one thing that throws
it's now a video game in the second one.
But here's what I was gonna say. The one thing that throws a wrench in our idea of having like 1700s.
Yeah,
Van Pelt. He's the one thing that would throw a wrench in there, because he's an 1800s character, except for the fact that the game adapts.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about, and I never realized this until I rewatched the movie as an adult.
Yeah.
The thing that Van Pelt symbolizes is Alan Parrish's father.
Yeah.
I believe it's the same actor.
Yeah, it is.
That plays the father, plays the
I'm pretty sure
Van
it is.
Pelt. What if it's something? Does it have to be that? Like you said, could it adapt and be something else?
That's what I think it is. It adapts.
Because I don't think Van Pelt or anything like him are in the new one.
Seeing as we haven't seen it, I couldn't say.
I mean, I haven't
also
seen him on the
is,
IMDb page.
Instead of
I could be wrong.
The other part of that too, though, is like instead of having the game like we had the first time, where everything gets pulled out of the game and gets thrown at you, you're pulled into the game.
Yeah, that's what happens this
in
second
the new
go
one.
around.
Yeah, the second go round.
Do you think then in the prequel we'd need a different twist? Like, okay, the first time everything came to you, second time you came to everything else.
You have the IMDb page, right? Up.
Not open. I could.
Okay, because I was gonna say, what was the main point of the game to get, like in the new one? In
the Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah. For them to win, they had to go get what?
Oh, they had to overcome their weaknesses.
Okay.
Overcome their weaknesses. I got that from the Screen Rant article.
Okay.
4 teenagers discover an old video game console and are literally drawn into the game's jungle setting, becoming adult avatars they choose. That's what IMDb has.
Yeah.
But like the IMDb page, or not IMDb, the Screen Rants one has it as they have to overcome their weaknesses and come together as a team kind of a thing.
Okay, but what's does it give you the overall goal of what their objective was in the game?
I think it's some with a ruby.
What's in the middle of the board game?
A ruby.
Of nice
an emerald stone.
Yeah.
So you're saying this next one the third one has to deal with the stone in some way.
Yeah. Again, with the board maybe being cursed via that stone. I'm just trying to find a correlation between all of them.
Or, and this is the thing at the end I'll do to flip it. Or if we do a next Jumanji 3, we've talked about going back, doing a prequel.
Yeah.
Do we jump forward? Do we do another jump forward where like it was a video game, now it's something else? Yeah,
that's the question, is where do you go with that? Because the only other the media we have out right now are one of two things. VR, which is still kind of video games.
Which is what they basically did was VR.
Yeah, it was, you got thrown into the virtual world. Or there's the app games on phones.
I'm trying to think. You know what? I saw something online, and I can't remember the Disney Channel stars. They were brothers. It was a boy band. There were 3 of them. Jonas,
yeah.
That's who I was thinking. One of the Jonas brothers, I think, had an idea or had a he has a funny idea for the next Jumanji sequel. Here's what he said. I'm going to read it really quick if I can find it. First reaction to reading, don't want that. Closest thing, don't want that. I'm quickly looking through the interview. Jumanji Jungle, what would you see? Right here. What would you like to see from the next Jumanji adventure if there could be another sequel? Here's what he said, and I quote, I'm not sure. If there was a sequel, I just hope I'd be in it, laughs. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think there are so many places you could go with this, and even new characters you can introduce. I think that the brilliant thing about this story is that each one of these characters, the 4 main heroes, goes on an incredible journey and grows so much more over the course of the hour and a half that you're watching the film. And I think I'm down to see more of that. So from him, it kind of sounds like, hey, let's take these 4 characters again. The game follows them. Like, what if it's something like an It kind of thing where they're kids now, they destroy the game. The curse ain't happy. No one's ever tried to destroy me. Everyone's just hidden me, thrown me in water,
thrown me
buried
away,
me,
gotten rid of me.
No one has destroyed me. What do? And then the curse is kind of following them in some way to where it's like It Part 1, Part 2, where once they're high schoolers, flash forward the next ones when they're adults and how they deal with it as adults.
Maybe. The other thought I had now is a sort of spin off the first Jumanji.
Okay.
Remember how Alan gets pulled into the game?
Yes.
What if it's the flip side of that? But like they don't just like it doesn't just close up the game and they stop for 20 years.
Yeah.
What if it like the kid gets pulled into the game, the rest of them keep playing out there, but you keep showing what happens to the other kid inside the game. So like, and you can even have some tie-ins. Like remember the monkeys got pulled out of the game. Maybe he's having an interaction with those things, or he's being chased down by the stampede, and all of a sudden someone rolls that and it does it up above. Stampede just suddenly gone,
Like disappears.
yeah. And then it like every so often, like it just the dice in some weird way could show up to him because at the fourth turn he has to roll 2 to try and get 9 or 8. No, 5 or 8.
Try to get 5 or 8. You got to get a 5 or 8. Man, that original movie. I mean, you had a cast of characters. Hunt was in that.
Yep,
Robin Williams, Christian Diaz.
I think so.
No, that was Dunst.
There you go.
It was
Kristen
Dunst because
yeah.
she was in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Your favorites. The Raimi Spider-Man movies. Your favorites.
Yep, my favorites.
Any final thoughts on a Jumanji prequel?
No, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about the ideas for the prequel.
And
we've given you guys a few. So
perfect segue. Turn it on to you guys. Let us know what you guys think down below. What would you do? Should there be a Jumanji prequel? And if there is, let us know your storyline down below for what you would like to see in the comment section.